The ones who speak the least are paying the closest attention, not out of timidity, but strategy. While you remain unaware of the assessment happening, a Sigma male has already judged your worth. The unsettling truth? You'll never hear his verdict. No announcements, no feedback, just silent scrutiny, razor-focused perception, and an unspoken dossier with your name on it. This isn't entertainment. It's not mind games. It's self-preservation. Research reveals that those with high emotional intelligence prioritize watching over reacting, and the Sigma male exemplifies this principle. He doesn't debate, he analyzes you like a subject in his personal experiment. The difference? There's no reward for participation, only an exit that closes without fanfare if you fall short. This behavior isn't about cultivating an air of intrigue, save that for social media bios. A Sigma male evaluates others not from insecurity, but because he prioritizes his tranquility above your company. The irony? His assessments happen right before your eyes, yet most people obliviously participate, grinning as they do. If you believe you're connecting with a Sigma male, you're likely already under evaluation. Here are the 12 unspoken trials he employs to distinguish the genuine from the superficial. Be warned, there are no second chances. Number 1. He observes how you treat people you think are powerless. A Sigma male pays close attention to how you treat people who hold no power over you, especially those whom society tends to ignore. He won't say anything. He won't call you out. But the moment you snap at a waitress, roll your eyes at a janitor, or act entitled towards someone in customer service, you've failed a test you didn't even know you were taking. He's not impressed by how you behave around people you want something from. Anyone can be polite to a boss, a love interest, or someone with status. That's easy. That's performance. He's watching what happens when there's nothing to gain, no reward, no spotlight, no social currency, just raw human interaction. And if you show even a hint of superiority or disregard towards someone just doing their job, it tells him everything he needs to know about your character. To him, that one moment speaks louder than 1,000 compliments. Because he knows this truth, the way you treat someone you think is beneath you is exactly how you'll treat him once you think you have him. It might not happen right away, but the second he drops the mystery, the second you think you've secured him, that same entitlement will surface, and he won't stick around to watch it play out. It doesn't matter how attractive, successful, or interesting you are. If you see people as disposable, replaceable, or invisible, you become invisible to him. Respect from a Sigma male isn't something you earn by being charming for 5 minutes. It's earned by how you behave when no one is watching, especially when the person in front of you can't do anything for you. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He just needs to see that you have humility, empathy, and a sense of equality that runs deeper than Instagram quotes. If you fail this test, he won't argue or explain. He'll just mentally mark you as unsafe. And once he does, there are no second chances. No apology. No charming effort will undo it. You may never even realize what you did wrong. But he does. And that's why you'll never hear from him again. Number 2, he brings up controversial topics to test your depth. When a Sigma male brings up something controversial, politics, religion, social issues, it's never by accident. He doesn't do it to start a fight or provoke you. He does it to see if you actually think for yourself, or if you're just another echo chamber in human form. He'll drop a polarizing statement into the conversation like it's no big deal, then sit back and observe, not your opinion, but how you form it. Do you panic and change the subject? Do you repeat whatever's trending on social media? Do you get defensive, like your beliefs are made of fragile glass? Or worse, do you start parroting what you think he wants to hear, hoping to impress him with borrowed thoughts? That's when he knows, you don't have a spine for depth. To him, intellectual tension is not a threat, it's a signal. A sign of presence. He wants to see if you can stand in discomfort without losing your sense of self. Not to agree with him. Not to win a debate. But simply to hold your own without collapsing. That's rare. That's powerful. He's not impressed by perfect answers. He's watching for substance. He's trying to see if you've earned your opinion or just inherited it from the last influencer you watched. It's not about being right. It's about being real. He respects people who challenge him. Who ask good questions. Who can admit, I don't know, without shame. That shows maturity. That shows range. But if you get flustered, offended, or default to outrage at the first sign of disagreement, you've already told him you're not ready. Because someone who can't handle different viewpoints can't handle real connection. Sigma males aren't here for surface-level harmony. They want depth. And depth requires friction. Friction exposes truth. So when he casually tosses a hot topic into the conversation, don't take the bait. Hold your ground, not with fake confidence or polished takes, but with your mind fully switched on. If you can do that, he'll notice. And if you can't, he'll notice that too. Number 3, he pretends to be less intelligent than he is. A Sigma male will often pretend to be less intelligent than he actually is, not because he lacks confidence or enjoys playing dumb, but as a test. One that most people fail without blinking. He might ask a question he already knows the answer to, say something that seems a little off, or casually understate his knowledge. Then, he watches, not your answer, but your reaction. Do you talk down to him? Do you correct him with a smug tone? Do you start showing off your own knowledge, trying to sound superior? If you do, he quietly adds your name to the ego-driven and untrustworthy list. This move isn't about intellect, it's about emotional radar. He's not testing how smart you are, he's testing whether your intelligence comes with humility or arrogance. Because for a Sigma, intelligence without self-awareness is just noise. He knows exactly how fake smart people behave. They get loud when they think they're the smartest person in the room. They interrupt, condescend, and start monologuing when they think they have the upper hand. The moment they think you're not as sharp as them, their real personality shows. And that's the part he wants to see. He knows he can reveal his full depth to only a few people, so he creates this little trap, not to fool you, but to unmask you. It's subtle. You'll never know you were being tested. He's not looking for people who can solve quantum physics. He's looking for people who can handle depth without needing to dominate it. If you meet his quiet intelligence with respect, curiosity, or just honest presence, he takes note. If you start peacocking and puffing up, that's game over. There's also a hint of entertainment in it for him. Sigma males aren't arrogant, but they definitely enjoy watching fake experts dig their own graves. He's already 5 steps ahead, silently amused, and just waiting for the performance to end. People often mistake him for slow, unmotivated, or average, until it's too late. By the time they realize who they were dealing with, he's already moved on. Because for a Sigma male, intelligence isn't something to prove, it's something to protect. And if you fail this test, you never even get close enough to see the rest. Number 2. He measures how long it takes before you try to figure him out. A Sigma male knows the difference between genuine curiosity and subtle control disguised as interest. At first, your questions might seem harmless. What's your story? Why are you so quiet? What are you really thinking? But behind every question, he's scanning for intent. Are you trying to connect? Or are you trying to dissect him like a riddle you're desperate to solve? The moment your curiosity crosses the line into emotional surgery, he checks out, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. He doesn't mind being misunderstood. He expects it. What he can't stand is being treated like a project. The moment you start poking around, trying to figure him out, as if there's some code to crack or hidden wound to uncover, you've missed the point entirely. He's not some emotionally complex mystery waiting for a savior. He's a self-contained system, and anyone who assumes they're entitled to unpack that system instantly loses his respect. This test is simple but brutally effective. He won't stop you from asking. He won't give you any warnings. He'll let you dig, pry, and theorize. And then, just when you think you're getting somewhere, he'll ghost you like you never existed. Not out of spite. Not because he's cruel. But because your need to define him told him everything he needed to know. You weren't trying to know him. You were trying to own him. That's what makes this test so slippery. Most people think they're bonding when they're actually boundary pushing. They think getting someone to open up is a sign of closeness, when for him, it feels like emotional trespassing. He values mystery, not because he's hiding something, but because he knows some things lose their meaning when exposed to too much light. His depth isn't for decoding. It's for respecting. So when someone approaches him with patience, presence, and zero pressure, that's rare. That's valuable. That's the kind of person he actually lets in. But the ones who treat him like a fascinating puzzle to complete? He doesn't get angry. He just makes sure they never get past the surface again. Number 5, he watches how you react when you can't control the situation. A Sigma male doesn't test your patience with drama. He tests it with discomfort. It's subtle, clean, and surgical. He might cancel plans with barely an explanation. He might pull back emotionally just when things feel close. He might respond to emotional bait with a straight face and no reaction, not to punish you, but to see what happens when you're no longer in control of the rhythm. Because when everything's going your way, of course you're easy to get along with. Of course you're calm, charming, supportive. But what happens when you're left hanging? What shows up when you don't get the text you expected, or the moment no longer caters to your comfort? That's what he's watching. Do you get passive-aggressive? Start guilt-tripping? Suddenly need clarity right now just to calm your anxiety? Do you poke for reassurance because your emotional grip just got a little loose? Or do you hold your ground, stay emotionally self-contained, and let the moment breathe without twisting it into something more predictable? A Sigma male knows the difference between real calm and performance calm. Real calm isn't conditional. It doesn't vanish the second things become inconvenient or unclear. He's watching for emotional endurance. Can you stay grounded when there's nothing to latch onto? Or are you only composed when everything is neatly scheduled, labeled, and under your control? This test isn't about drama, it's about depth. He doesn't want someone who reacts like a fire alarm the moment something shifts. He wants someone who can sit in uncertainty without losing their center. That's rare. That's power. That's what makes you actually safe to him. He won't announce this test. He'll just toss a little chaos into the mix, just enough to knock the rhythm off, and let your nervous system do the talking. If you stay cool, don't demand emotional maintenance, and don't make it all about you, he'll quietly take note. You pass. But if your mask slips and the need for control flares up, that tells him all he needs to know. And he'll start detaching before you even realize it. You don't need to be perfect. Just solid when things aren't. That's the real test. Number 6, he lets you talk first, then assesses your pattern. When a Sigma male asks you a question and then goes quiet, he's not being polite, he's conducting a silent audit. He'll throw out something simple like, "So, what do you do?" or "What matters most to you these days?" and then stop. No follow-up, no interjection, no unnecessary filler. That silence? That's the trap. Most people rush to fill it, and in doing so, they reveal more than they ever intended. He's not just listening to your answer, he's scanning for your pattern. Do you launch into a monologue, listing accomplishments like a walking resume? Do you casually slip in self-praise wrapped in fake humility? Do you overshare your childhood trauma like it's some shortcut to bonding? Or do you dodge altogether, turning everything into a joke or redirecting the focus back to him because you're uncomfortable with the spotlight? That's when he knows who you really are. If you overshare, he sees desperation for validation. If you deflect everything with sarcasm, he sees someone afraid of being seen. If you start name-dropping, flexing status, or narrating your life like it's an Instagram highlight reel, he clocks the ego instantly. You think you're making a good impression. What he sees is a walking billboard screaming, "Please like me." And the more you talk, the less he says, because he doesn't need to. Every word you use without intention exposes how you function under pressure, what you prioritize, and where your insecurities hide. He's testing not your story, but your self-awareness. Do you speak with presence? Or are you just trying to impress, distract, or control the energy? This is why Sigma males rarely interrupt. They let people ramble, flatter themselves, dig holes, or expose their masks, all without lifting a finger. Most don't even realize they're being evaluated until much later, when the Sigma quietly disappears and they're left wondering why. It's not because you said something wrong. It's because you couldn't stop performing long enough to be real. He's not looking for perfection. He's looking for authenticity, restraint, presence. If you can hold space without performing, you pass. If you talk yourself in circles trying to impress, well, you just told him everything he needed to know. Number 7, he watches if you try to make him jealous. A Sigma male isn't your typical drama magnet, so don't expect him to play the jealousy game. If you try to bait him by flirting with others just to see if he reacts, or casually name-drop exes like it's some twisted power move, he's already mentally checked out. He's not impressed by the circus of attention-seeking. It's boring to him. He doesn't chase approval or validation, and he definitely won't stick around to compete for it. The moment you start trying to stir up jealousy, you reveal something crucial: insecurity, masked as a game. That need to provoke a reaction screams that you're fishing for attention, because you don't trust your own worth, or the connection you supposedly share. To a Sigma male, that's a huge red flag. He's built on self-sufficiency and quiet confidence, and he expects the same from anyone close to him. Instead of rising to the bait, he pulls away. No drama. No argument. Just a subtle exit that often goes unnoticed, until it's too late. Unlike loud breakups or heated confrontations, his disappearance is clean. Final. He's not interested in competing on anyone's stage or playing second fiddle in a popularity contest. Trying to make him jealous isn't a test, it's a deal-breaker. He values authenticity and mutual respect, not emotional games or attention theatrics. If you want to hold his interest, show him you don't need the spotlight or other people's validation to feel secure. Otherwise, he'll quietly vanish, leaving you wondering what just happened. In his world, confidence isn't loud or flashy. It's steady and self-contained. If you can't meet that standard, no amount of jealousy baiting will keep him around. The circus? That's his exit sign, not the stage he chooses to perform on. Number 8, he makes you laugh, just to see if your humor is dark, dumb, or deep. A Sigma male doesn't just crack a joke to break the ice. He weaponizes humor to cut through the surface. He'll say something that's not quite safe, not quite expected, maybe it's dry, dark, a little twisted, or layered in sarcasm. And then he watches, not your laugh, but what kind of laugh you give. Do you get it? Do you flinch? Do you fake a giggle? Do you get awkward and try to change the subject? That moment tells him everything. To him, humor isn't just about being funny, it's about depth, intellect, and emotional bandwidth. If you laugh from the gut with understanding, not just because it's edgy, but because it's smart, you've passed a massive test without even knowing it. But if you tighten up, moralize, or throw out a "that's not funny" like you're the world's self-appointed ethics committee, he's already mentally checked out. Because for him, humor is a coded language, and how you respond tells him whether you can handle discomfort, nuance, and playfulness without freaking out. If your humor is all filters and pre-approved punchlines, he sees someone shaped by social safety nets, not someone who thinks freely. But if you meet his sharpness with wit of your own, or even escalate it with finesse, that's rare. That's gold. He's not trying to be offensive. He's trying to spark something unfiltered. And humor is the fastest way to pull that out. Most people live behind a script, especially early on. They say what they think they're supposed to. But laughter? That's real. It can't be rehearsed. That reaction comes from your wiring. And he wants to see if your wiring is dull, defensive, or delightful. If your idea of funny is TikTok fluff or tired memes, he's bored within seconds. If you can't take a joke without turning it into a TED Talk on ethics, he won't even argue, he'll just go silent. But if you throw it back with intelligence, timing, and a little darkness of your own, you've just unlocked a level of connection most people will never reach with him. So when he drops that subtle, wicked comment, don't miss the cue. It's not just a joke. It's a signal. And how you respond tells him exactly who you are. Number 9. He lets you talk about people behind their backs. When a Sigma male lets you talk about others behind their backs, it's not because he's joining the gossip club or looking for juicy secrets. He couldn't care less about drama or the latest scandal. He's running a silent, ruthless test of your character. A loyalty test, played in reverse. Because here's the truth, how you talk about people when they're not around tells him everything he needs to know about who you really are. If you jump at the chance to tear someone down, complain nonstop, or spread rumors, he's watching with laser focus. That's a glaring red flag. It tells him you're the kind of person who would talk about him the moment he steps away. To him, loyalty isn't just about standing beside someone when they're present, it's about the respect you hold for them in their absence. If you can't show that kind of integrity, he instantly knows you're not trustworthy. He's not naive. He knows people aren't perfect, and not everyone deserves a free pass. But he expects a baseline of decency. That means not weaponizing gossip or venting in a way that's cruel or self-serving. If you indulge in tearing others down for entertainment or ego, he mentally files you under risk and steps back. Because once you open that door, it's only a matter of time before he's on the other side of it. He listens not for the gossip itself, but for your patterns, the ease with which you sink into negativity, the tone you use when describing others, the grudges you hold. That reveals your emotional maturity, your values, and most importantly, your sense of loyalty. And Sigma males prize loyalty above almost everything else. It's the backbone of any meaningful connection with them. So if you want to stay in his orbit, keep your respect consistent, whether someone's standing right in front of you or 1,000 miles away. Because for a Sigma male, loyalty is a silent contract you never explicitly sign, but absolutely must honor. Break it, and he won't waste a second. He'll quietly disappear from your life, no argument, no drama. Just gone. Number 10, he tracks how you handle boredom. A Sigma male lives in a world where silence isn't awkward, it's meaningful. He doesn't need constant noise, endless distractions, or the background buzz of dopamine hits to feel alive or connected. One of the quietest yet most telling tests he puts you through is watching how you handle boredom around him. Not the kind of boredom you fix by scrolling through your phone or turning on the TV, he's talking about real, unfiltered stillness. Just the two of you. No agenda. No noise. No escape hatch. If you find yourself panicking in those moments, scrambling to fill the void, that's a flashing neon sign to him. It reveals that you're uncomfortable with yourself when there's nothing else to grab onto. You might start tapping your phone, changing the subject, making small talk, or even stirring up drama just to inject some energy into the moment. That's emotional noise canceling, and he sees it as a major mismatch. To him, needing constant stimulation means you're skimming the surface of life, too afraid to dive into what's real and raw. But if you can sit with him in quiet and actually enjoy it, you're speaking his language. That stillness becomes a shared space where connection happens without words. No need to prove yourself, entertain, or perform, just two people coexisting comfortably. That's rare. And it's precious. He's not asking you to be a monk or meditate for hours. He's simply watching how you show up when there's nothing going on. Can you be present without distractions? Can you handle the boring moments without panic or impatience? Because those moments reveal your true emotional stamina and your capacity for depth. If you're constantly chasing dopamine hits, it's like you're allergic to stillness. And for him, that's a deal breaker. So when a Sigma male offers silence, it's a test wrapped in calm. If you flinch, grab your phone, or start manufacturing drama, you fail. Quietly, but definitely. But if you can hold the stillness, and even thrive in it, you've passed one of the most subtle, yet profound, tests he'll ever give. That's the real indicator of whether you're built for the kind of connection he actually wants, one that doesn't need noise to prove it exists. Number 11. He studies what you're like when you're losing. When a Sigma male observes you in moments of loss, he's not interested in your trophies or victories. He zeroes in on how you handle defeat, mistakes, or when someone else outshines you. It's in those raw, unpolished moments that your true character spills out, like ink on a blank page. Winning is easy to fake. Losing? That's where the truth comes out. If you respond to failure with grace, owning your mistakes without excuses or anger, that sends a powerful message. It reveals resilience, maturity, and emotional strength. These are the kinds of traits a Sigma male deeply respects, even if he never openly praises them. You're showing him that you're not just about the scoreboard, you're about growth and integrity. That makes you magnetic in a way no trophy ever could. But if you get bitter, sulk, or try to twist reality to suit your ego, blaming others, bending facts, or playing the victim, he's silently taking notes. That kind of behavior screams insecurity and a fragile sense of self-worth. It shows you're more concerned with saving face than learning or evolving. For him, that's a deal-breaker. Trying to flip the narrative to paint yourself as the real winner, when the facts say otherwise, is especially telling. It reveals your confidence depends on image, not substance. Sigma males can see through that kind of smoke and mirrors instantly. And they don't stick around for the show. He respects those who can lose with dignity, because it proves they're not slaves to ego or external validation. These are the people who don't crumble when the tide turns. They adapt, learn, and come back stronger. That kind of quiet resilience isn't flashy, but it's the foundation of real power. And it's exactly what a Sigma male seeks when he's watching you lose. Because in defeat, more than in victory, your true strength is revealed. Number 12. He withholds praise on purpose. A Sigma male doesn't hand out compliments like candy, and that's no accident. It's not about playing mind games or being cold. It's a deliberate test designed to reveal whether you truly stand on your own 2 feet. When he withholds praise, he's not trying to punish you or make you doubt yourself. He's observing closely to see if your self-esteem is anchored internally or tethered to external approval. If you find yourself scrambling for validation every time his recognition is missing, that's a flashing red light to him. It signals that your confidence is fragile, dependent on others' applause to feel worthy. He can spot that from a mile away because emotional neediness suffocates real connection. To him, needing constant validation isn't a sign of strength, it's a glaring weakness wrapped in insecurity. Authenticity, in his eyes, means knowing your value without needing someone else to spell it out. It means you're not performing for likes or compliments, you simply are. So, when he stays quiet instead of praising, he's handing you a mirror. What do you see? Do you shrink and doubt yourself? Or do you stand tall, reminding yourself that your worth isn't negotiable? He respects people who don't seek his approval to prove their importance, those who don't fish for "good job" like it's oxygen. These are the grounded, self-reliant individuals he silently admires. They don't crumble when the spotlight is off. They keep shining, quietly, confidently, and on their own terms. So, if you want to pass this unspoken test, stop waiting for applause. Build your confidence where it belongs, inside you. When you do, his silence won't rattle you, it will intrigue him. That's when you stop being just another person seeking validation, and become someone truly magnetic in his eyes. Because real strength doesn't shout for attention. It stands firm in its own light, even when no one else is watching. Final thoughts. Understanding the silent tests of a Sigma male. Understanding the silent tests a Sigma male puts you through is like decoding a complex language of subtlety, patience, and raw honesty. He doesn't hand out approval or signals on a silver platter. Instead, he watches, listens, and analyzes, quietly measuring your character against standards that don't need to be spoken aloud. These tests aren't about manipulation or mind games. They're his way of protecting his space and energy from anything less than authentic, resilient, and grounded. He's not interested in surface-level connections or emotional roller coasters. What captivates him is someone who stands firm in their own truth. Someone who can handle silence without panic. Someone who shows loyalty, not just in a person's presence, but in their absence. Someone who maintains grace when the world isn't applauding. Sigma males test on a deeper level because they strip away the masks, and expose who you are when there's nothing to gain. He measures your strength not by how loudly you proclaim your worth, but by how quietly and confidently you own it, especially when praise is withheld or life throws curveballs your way. He values the rare souls who don't chase validation with jealousy, games, or noise, but who find comfort in genuine connection and shared stillness. When you can sit with him in boredom without needing to fill the void. When your humor aligns with his sharp wit without moralizing. When you show unwavering loyalty, even in whispered conversations about others. You pass a test few ever notice, let alone conquer. This is no casual dance of flirting and games. It's a meticulous, often invisible process of discovery. Every word, pause, and reaction carries weight. The Sigma male doesn't rush. He waits, observes, and decides if you're worthy of the rare space he offers. And once you're in, the connection runs deeper than most will ever understand. So if you ever find yourself puzzled by his quiet scrutiny, remember, he's not testing you to break you. He's testing to discover if you're someone who can stand beside him, steady, authentic, and unshakable when the applause fades and the silence settles. Ultimately, understanding these tests isn't about trying to pass a Sigma male's standards. It's about leveling up to the point where you no longer need to prove anything. Your strength, loyalty, and authenticity naturally shine through. That's the rare prize he seeks. And when you embody it, you don't just pass his tests. You become someone who earns his respect, attention, and rarest form of connection. If this breakdown of the Sigma male silent tests resonated with you, don't leave without showing some support. Hit that subscribe button so you're always tuned into powerful insights that cut through the noise. If this video gave you a fresh perspective, give it a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts or personal experiences in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you know someone who's trying to understand the Sigma mindset, or just appreciates raw, unfiltered truth, send this their way. Let's grow a space where real talk, inner strength, and no BS wisdom thrive. Appreciate you being here. Until next time, stay sharp and stay true.